Hey guys, it's Jen from Generator 74, and you'll have to forgive my voice, but I did finally come down with a cold. Um, yeah, I haven't had one in a very, very long time, so I don't know what's happening, but here I am sick. I couldn't speak at all last night, so I'll probably just do one video today and let my voice rest. But this card I made for a friend of ours. It's actually our pastor. I bought this stamp at actually a cute little store. It's owned by Amish people. They sell stamps and supplies in this tiny little shed in their backyard. But yeah, I saw this stamp and I was like, I have to get it for a card for him just because of the Cardinal. His mother loved cardinals, and every time any of us see a cardinal, we think of Betty. So that's why I got this stamp, and that's why this is going to be his Christmas card. So I already had stamped it out and colored it in with my Copics and sort of aged it up a little bit with some distress inks. I thought I was recording a video of that, but apparently I forgot to hit record. So this video is just using what I'd already made with the stamp, and now I'm putting together the card. So I'm inking up these papers with my Tim Holtz distress inks. I think that's probably brushed corduroy. And just getting them all aged up. And get them layered on the paper the way I like them. I try to pick, papers that have obviously patterns and colors that go well together. You can't have too many contrasting patterns when you're picking your paper. So that's why the paper on the left there is sort of a larger pattern. The one on the right is a smaller polka dot. And then these tiny little strips of music is actually the top of those papers. The paper pad that I used, all the tops of the pages had like music sheets. So when I cut them off, I decided I might as well use them. They're really cute. So, and then the reason I chose that red paper, it took a while for me to find a red paper that sort of had a purplish undertone to it. It's actually not showing up like that on the camera, so I'm not sure, you probably all think I'm crazy, but believe me that in true life it does, and it complements the Copic coloring of the Cardinal really well. I'm not sure why the lighting is so strange, but so I'm going ahead and attaching the paper to the card base, and this is an A2 size card, so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's the standard that I use. Just lining that up straight, and then I will take the red strip. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Where did I go? Oh, okay. I'm cutting a slit because I was going to put ribbon on it, but I am attaching the red paper. I just added a simple little border there at the bottom just to add a little bit of interest. And then on goes the music paper, and just mark it where I need to cut it and ink it. I think inking the edges sort of finishes everything off and helps, the different patterns to stand out. This is just some like orangish cream organza ribbon that I had on my ribbon station, and tying my bow upside down as I always do, because for some reason I can't tie them right side up, and fiddling with it and making sure that you hold the knot in the center when you're trying to get it just right, otherwise it'll keep loosening up. And then I'll trim off the edges once I get it positioned where I want it. Gotta make room for my Cardinal stamped piece there. And when I cut that stamped piece out, the stamp itself came in an oval pattern like that, so I just cut around the tail just so that it added another little element of interest. Some of the branches were sticking out outside the oval too, but I just cut it in an oval because they would have been impossible to cut out. Sorry, excuse me. And that 3D tape I bought at Big Lots, I have like a bunch of rolls of it. It's just more economical for me to just cut the size I want or the shape, and then buying the tiny little, you know, circles or squares or whatever. So there is the front of the card so far, and now I'm looking for a sentiment from the stamp set I got on Black Friday to see which one I think fits the card the best. Just using some scraps there that I'm going to stamp on. And I'm going to use some Versamark because I'm going to emboss. It's funny, the only time I use embossing powder is Christmas cards. Very rarely I'll use it like to emboss like white, only because like on regular cards, because I really want the white to stand out, and white gel pen isn't as opaque as look how ugly that stamp pad is. It's hilarious. You can tell what happened. I had like black ink on my clear block that I was stamping in there with, and it rubbed off, so I have to try to remember to keep them clean. But yeah, I don't use embossing powder really throughout the year except for Christmas. There's nothing wrong with using it, it's just not something I gravitate to. I just sort of don't use it that often. I don't know, there's something about Christmas cards and making them like shiny, you know, and embossing powder does that. I'm a little weird. So I'm letting my heat gun heat up first and then doing it on the back first too. It helps prevent warping. I mean, the paper still warps, but it's not as bad. And cooling it off so I don't burn myself or smear it, which I've done. Actually, what I'm more famous for is stamping the Versamark, putting the powder on it, and then forgetting to heat set it, like sitting it down and then like accidentally rubbing it off. Hey, what can I say? I'm not perfect, that's for sure. And cutting a little ribbon edge there, which is, you know, really popular these days. And then just sort of fiddling with it to see where it would best go. And I think I decided to put it up there. I put a little bit of the pop-up tape on the edge there so that it would be flat with the Cardinal stamped image that I have popped out, or, you know, 3D tape. Making sure it's straight and where I want it. That looks good to me. I think I may decide to, yeah, I did, to get some little bit of white on the card just to help bring that red piece sort of in with the rest. And so I just put a dashed line with my white gel pen along the top and bottom. And I think it helps finish it off too. So then on to the inside of the card, and again I just use the scraps that I have left from the front of the card. And digging through my drawer of things that I had die cut a couple weeks ago. I find it comes in handy to have them already cut out. I really hate like stopping what I'm doing, getting out the big shot. And, you know, if you know you use a lot of something, it makes sense to me to just go ahead and cut a bunch out and then have them accessible, and then you can just dig through and use what you want. So that's what I did with those. Sorry. Cut down the papers, and I'm going to ink them as I did on the front, just to have them similar, the front and the inside. I really like that paper with the pine cones on it. It's a really pretty pattern. And doing the same with the little white piece where I'll write my message. And another music piece there, and that's just the top from the other piece of pattern paper. And lining them up, seeing how it looks. Yep. So then I'm sure that's where I want things to go. I must have been watching Netflix there. And I attached the one to the piece to the other piece, and I'm using my grid on my mat there to line it up straight. And the same thing here with this music strip. Get it all squared up. And then add it. It helps just keep it lined up. And trim off the excess. And put that little white piece there so I can put my writing on the inside of the card. And looks like I'm looking to see if there's a sentiment I can use on the inside as well. I don't always do that, but every now and then the mood strikes me, so looks like that's what I'm doing here, is getting one for the inside of the card. Just to add a little something. Another one of those scraps of paper. I like the photopolymer stamps because you can actually use the distress inks and they don't bead up and look all like wonky. And there's my modern label punch, I think it's called, from Stampin' Up. It's really nice for little sentiments, and it's just cute. Add that to the inside, and then I'll attach that inside piece. Oh, adding some staples, yes. Wanted to add a little bit of shine, so my tiny attacher works for that. So then I'll put the adhesive on and attach that to the inside of the card. And that'll be it. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate all of my viewers, and have a fantastic day. Bye!